much whether or not it's appropriate for you and me to make jokes about Tom Cruise. This is 2006. Standards are lower everywhere. It's whether or not we're making those jokes based on ignorance or intelligence. Our third story in the countdown, Mr. Cruise goes on national television to correct the record about Scientology and silent births and whatnot, but is he sugarcoating it? In a moment, an expert. Is this less about silence during childbirth and more about silencing public and media criticism? Ever since the news of his fiancee's pregnancy, the issue of silent birth has received a great deal of undesired attention. The founder of the Scientology religion, L. Ron Hubbard, made it clear in his writings the reasons for his teachings of silent birth. The words uttered during the pains of giving birth can trigger irrational fears and unwanted emotions for the soon-to-be-born youngster. But in an attempt to calm the storm of his battled religion, Cruise drew a much rosier picture of what silent birth really is. If she's going to make noise, she said of his lady friend, she's going to make noise. She does what she's got to do. If she needs medicine, she needs medicine. If she needs an epidural, she's going to get her epidural. He explained that the guidelines during delivery are more for those around the birthing mother in order to keep the area very calm and very special for the emerging baby. David Touretzky is a research professor in the computer science department and at the Center for the Neural Basis of Cognition at Carnegie Mellon, and he has studied Scientology in depth. Thank you for your time tonight, sir.
My pleasure.
So that headline of the whole Tom Cruise Scientology thing, the silent birth, did Mr. Cruise clean it up, or were we in the media overstating this?
I think he's trying to soft play it a bit, but you have to understand that Scientology has one set of rules for celebrities and another set for everyone else. So if Tom Cruise and his girlfriend want to make noise, no one's going to tell them not to.
Not having gotten as much attention in this whole thing was this idea of what happens in the days following the birth. Supposedly the baby's not supposed to be disturbed or have any contact with anyone, and coddling is forbidden, and conventional medicine is not supposedly allowed when the child becomes ill. Is all that a correct representation of the teachings regarding the day after?
That is correct. L. Ron Hubbard wrote that the child should be wrapped in tight, soft clothes and left alone for a week. I don't think he meant it shouldn't be fed, but it shouldn't be talked to, it shouldn't be cuddled, it should be left undisturbed for a week. Now, that doesn't mean that people actually follow those teachings. And again, Tom Cruise can do whatever he likes, and he will not be criticized for it. But that is what Hubbard taught.
Touching on the dust-up, the famous one that Tom Cruise had last summer with Brooke Shields, it was on the Today Show with Matt Lauer. What happens if the mother, in this case Katie Holmes, were to get postpartum depression? What does Scientology actually say about that?
Well, I assume Tom would follow the advice that he gave Brooke Shields, which was that he would deny Katie access to antidepressants. He would have her treated with vitamins and with exercise, and certainly in her case with Scientology auditing, which is their quack version of therapy. If those things didn't work, I think Tom would have to get rid of her. I mean, she would be seen as a suppressive force, as someone who was holding him back. And if she did not respond to Scientology treatment, there would be no other course of treatment open to her.
Uh-huh. Now, we're well aware of this truth here, that Mr. Cruise achieved one of the highest ranks in this religion, the operating Satan level 7 out of the 8 levels. Apparently, the higher you get in this, the more secretive it gets. Would he know things about this religion that Katie Holmes would not know or would not be permitted to know?
Oh, absolutely. In fact, he knows things that everyone who watched the South Park episode knows, but that Katie is not allowed to know. You know, South Park, it may be just a cartoon, but they did a very good job of explaining the upper-level theology of Scientology, starting at level OT3, which is, Tom is now 4 levels beyond that. Starting at OT3, you're introduced to Xenu, the evil galactic overlord, who supposedly murdered all these citizens of the Galactic Federation some 75 million years ago, and their tortured spirits now infest all of us. So Tom knows this. Katie may not learn this, and of course she would never be allowed to watch the South Park episode. She would not be allowed to go on the internet and browse freely. And even if she got high enough to make it to OT3, which, by the way, Nicole Kidman quit after OT2, so she never met Xenu. But if Katie made it all the way to OT3 and learned about Xenu in the approved way, even then, she and Tom would be forbidden to discuss Xenu, even in the privacy of their own bedroom. This is how Scientology maintains control over its adherents, by preventing them from engaging in any kind of discussion or reality testing outside of the cult's control.
Well, I don't know anybody who could actually get high enough to believe any of that, but that's another subject altogether. How is this? In the interview, Tom Cruise said that you can be a Catholic and a Scientologist at the same time. How is that Is that possible? And if so, how is that possible?
It's not possible, and in fact, Tom was sort of violating a Scientology public relations strategy there. They used to make that claim that you could be a Catholic and a Scientologist, and enough people called them on it that they backed off and they stopped making that claim in public. But I guess Tom didn't get the memo. You cannot be a Scientologist and a Christian for the simple reason that the essence of Scientology is belief in reincarnation. In fact, Scientology goes even further than the other religions that preach reincarnation, because Scientology says that they will teach you to recall your past lives. Whereas the Christian Bible says in Hebrews 9:27, man is destined to die once, and after that to face judgment. And that judgment comes when Christ returns to earth. So although there are Scientologists who claim that they're Catholic and Scientologist or Christian and Scientologist, if you ask any Catholic priest or any Christian minister, can I believe in this and be a Scientologist, he'll say no.
And also there's that conflict between Xenu and Xena, as played by Lucy Lawless. Dr. David Touretzky, the research professor at Carnegie Mellon University, expert on Scientology. Great, thanks for joining us tonight.
My pleasure.